Friday afternoon, I was like loading the up with the bags and so on, and then went and hooked up the trailer, which is what we're in, and we head off to the boat, and so had a few hours, probably what was it, 3 hours drive to sort of get to Heysham, and a 2 o'clock sail and a 6 a.m. arrival. So by 6:30 on Saturday morning, I was parking here where we're sat now. I went up and sort of helped the guys set up the garage area a little bit, not to any great degree, but I was just sort of hanging around and chatting and picking up a few things when a lift was needed. Fortunate, she come back and said she's happy for me to ride the bike, and she feels like it, you know, it would benefit me as I've been away for 5 years. Any bike time and laps is going to be helpful. So if you're able to find the FHO race team awning, you don't have to go too far, and you'll be able to find where the merch is. I'll just walk up here now to give you an idea. Along the way you'll see Hickey's merch stand, and then you'll see the fan merch unit, and this is where you can get all the merchandise should you wish to buy any.
So it's just a burger and tomato.
Yeah, we can do it as you like. We can do you know, personalised orders.
And what size? What size are your fries?
They're about normal potato size, about sort of that length.
Relatively large and easy to pick up.
Yeah, it'll probably be an hour getting around the course, just familiarising myself with the surroundings. A little bit of anxiety, and I'll tell you why, because when I had time away, I don't know if it was complacency or what, but when I had 2 years off, so 15 and 16 off, I returned in 17, and I thought, well, I've done 129 around here. I know my way around enough that I don't have to really worry too much. You know, I've been there for a couple of years. I've done decent times. I know the circuit. I've, you know, been inside the top 10 number, you know, already a number of times. You know, I mean, it's like I'm at the other end. If this is like a newcomer and this is a winner, I'm at the winner's end of the lineup. You know what I mean? And I couldn't have been more further from the truth. I went out on the track and I felt like an absolute newcomer in 2017. Looking back now, it may have been a reflection of the bike I was on, the Norton, you know what I mean? But at the time, I felt really out of place, you know what I mean? I didn't feel comfortable with my track position, my braking points, apex, you know, where to look through the turn. I just didn't have a lot of confidence in myself and the bike, and that came as a surprise, you know. And I think that's where I was a little bit naive into thinking that you know I had confidence, and it was false. I definitely did laps around the course in 17 before I rode, and yeah, I feel like I did almost mirrored the same preparation, but maybe just 2 years isn't enough to kind of log the track as much as you think. Maybe having those extra doubling of that period, even though it's over a far bigger stretch of time, I think it's possibly more to do with the volume of laps as opposed to the stretch of time that it's over. I think if you so I'm thinking that having those another 2 years, and also having, like, 18 was a particularly good year. I think we got a lot of laps.
Yeah, good weather. Yeah.
Good weather.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, all that sort of built up to what was, I guess, probably a better log in my brain of what the course is like. I think the quality and understanding of the circuit, say for 13 and 14, was limited by my experience. So I didn't have, although I'd done or achieved 2 years at the event, the quality of those 2 years of like the quality of laps and the actual lap speed was on the lower scale. So the next 2 years was like a 30-31 sort of lap time repeatedly. So the quality you're getting in those 2 years is far greater than the first 2 years. So I think not only have I gained another 2 years, but I've got another 2 years of superior quality. So I think with the time off isn't as significant as the quality of the riding that I did in those 2 years here. 13 was a really good year. Like I had a good team, a very predictable bike, very comfortable, predictable bike. So it was the perfect sort of like entry. I couldn't have scripted that better. The 14 year was horrific. The bike didn't work. The 600 blew up. I got very limited laps. So the 14 year was nearly scrapped. Teammates with Hutchie, and both of us really didn't enjoy the ride or the bike. So I think the 13 year was a real entry level year, which you'd expect, and then the 14 year didn't really learn much because I was in such a traumatic kind of environment to learn the track more. So I think, I hadn't really progressed. Even though I did the 2 years, I hadn't really progressed much. So then to start 17 after 2 years away on what's an undeveloped bike, I think all of those as a mixture of ingredients, it wasn't going to produce anything great. So I think that's reflective of like the process I went through. So then having developed the Norton for 2 years and brought it to a speed which met 131, I think that was like very fixed memories in my head. It kind of got really heavily logged. So so I think coming back, even after the 5 years, I think I still had quite a good memory of the circuit and the layout and the braking and the turning and how the track should feel. So it's 9:50 on Monday morning, and at 10:50 I go out for my first laps, and I'm going out on the first sessions for Super Sport and Super Twins. So I've only got an entry in the Super Twins, so I should get 2 laps on that, and then come in, swap leathers, and go out on my super stock bike, and should get 2 laps, and then come in for some fuel, and then another lap. So see how that goes.
On the surface, pretty good.
I remembered about 11:30 last night. I thought I ain't going to ring you now.
No, that's right. Yeah, I noticed that right at the apex where the pole is.
It was there for last year. It was the first time it's been there.
So does it like leave the ground?
It almost feels like that, but whether it does or not, I don't know.
Bear with us for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Years being away from the Isle of Man. Josh, just tell us how that was for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, I think it's wild, but not wild, but I think it's great that we're able to actually do this. And yeah, just when you're riding around, you're obviously concentrating on everything, every bump, every apex, but there's this thing in the back of your mind where you're just like, I can't believe we're doing this.
Crazy,
yeah, not crazy, but just I can't believe we're allowed. You know what I mean? It's like as if the principal's going to come out any minute and tell you you're not supposed to do it. But no, it's like I've had a really good opening day. It was easier than I had sort of anticipated. When I come back after 2 years off in 2017, I was like, really uncomfortable with the speed and the way the track looks when you're going at speed. And I thought, I'd come back after, because I'd done a couple of years, so I thought it would be quite an easy transition, but it was quite hard. Where fortunately this year, I can remember all the lines and all the positions and everything much better. So I've had a really easy, nice, relaxed re-entry into riding, and day one's gone great.
And do you think as well, obviously, you've ridden this bike at VSB, bringing the bike here, has that been an easy transition as well? Do you think that's added to the reason why it felt a bit easier this time round?
No, not at all, actually. The bike reacts so different here, and you ride so different here than you would at a VSB event. The way you brake, the way you corner, the way you accelerate, it's all so different. I know we're on the same motorbikes, but it's like it's another discipline. It's a completely different approach to how we ride, how you think, and your body position, everything's different. So the bike's not actually even reacting in a way that I'm familiar with, but it's just the way that it works around here. So I've just got to adapt.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts on how fast the times have been today? Obviously it's the first qualifying session, first day of the fortnight.
Yeah.
What do you think to how that's setting the scene for the rest of the weeks?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's only natural. We've got great weather. There's perfect visibility because we're riding in the daytime as opposed to the afternoons, which how it was when I've ridden here before. The sun glare would always, stop you from being able to go too fast in certain sections. So, the conditions are perfect for everybody to feel comfortable and go fast really quick, really early.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear that you're feeling good out there and you've got a smile on your face after all of that. So thank you so much for speaking to me, Josh. Get back to the sidecars. Thank you. 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I could have a beer.
It was actually really enjoyable. Like as soon as I went off, I just felt good on the bike, and it felt like it came very natural.
Was it nice?
Are you starting right? Josh Briggs on the gun. Come on, girls, get your hands in the air.